Hello and welcome. You might have joined us from one of our other videos in which we talked about some of the challenges and myths related to running recovery residences. We want to spend a little more time digging into some of those topics, and for that conversation, I'm joined by my colleagues. I'll have them introduce themselves and then we'll dive into some questions.
I'm Carmen Long. I am the Executive Director of Truly Motivated Transitional Living and also work alongside these gentlemen in accrediting recovery homes in our state.
Welcome. I'm happy to be here with you all today. My name is Jason Bliss and I serve as the Executive Director of the Washington Alliance for Quality Recovery Residences and also operate a few recovery residences here in Washington State.
And I'm Alan Muia. I'm the Executive Director of New Earth Recovery, and we have been operating for 15 years about an hour north of Seattle. Between the three of us, though, we have more than 50 years of experience operating recovery residences, and I've learned a lot from my colleagues, and we want to share a bit about what we've learned during our time doing this with you. There are a number of issues we want to address in response to some videos that we've seen online inviting people to enter the recovery housing field as a mechanism to make money or as an investment strategy.
There are three primary ways that individuals can get involved in recovery housing and recovery housing business. If you want to help people as an investor or a landlord, a way that you can get involved and be able to do that is to work with an organization such as Oxford House. Oxford House has many locations across the United States that individual investors and homeowners actually purchase the property, and then those properties are leased to Oxford House. Another way that individuals can get involved in recovery housing is by choosing to work with an established provider who is already providing recovery resident services in your community or across the state. If you're going to go that route and engage with an operator who has been established in your local community, there are many different ways that you can find those operators. Either here in Washington State, we have the Washington State Healthcare Authority directory. We also have our WAQRR directory, which can be found at www.waqrr.org. And the third way to get involved in recovery residences is to actually become the operator yourself.
Now, operator is just someone who is highly involved in the day-to-day happenings in the home, involved with the men and women living in their homes, connecting them with local resources, knowing what's going on in their lives, being available, and operating the home.
So what we really want to talk about in the next few minutes is what is entailed in option number 3. So what it takes to be the person who is on the ground actually operating the recovery residence.
Yeah, so people living in recovery homes, by definition, are vulnerable people. They're people who have widely experienced really significant trauma in their lives, who oftentimes have lost everything: their home, their work, their families, their finances. And so there are people who really need a lot of support and a lot of care, very intentional care. There are also people who can have really amazing, wonderful, bright futures when given the right support and the right care.
It takes a lot to be involved as an operator, or provider is another name for an operator. Recovery housing is complex, and there are a lot of things to learn over time. We've all been at this a while, and we're still learning how to do this job. But primarily what it means is actually being available. And so availability is this really key piece of our work. It means that if there is an emergency that happens at 2 o'clock in the morning, that there's somebody there to answer the phone to help whoever is maybe a house manager or someone like that, to help them deal with the situation and maybe even get up and go to the residence. It means being available to refer people to other places outside of the home where they can get the services that they need. Depending on how long they've been in recovery and how many relationships they already have, you may not need to do a lot of that. But in a lot of cases, one of our main roles is to connect our folks to the broader community. And that is a big job, and it's one that takes a real presence in the home. First, to be able to discern what our residents are experiencing and what they might need, and then to be able to sort of connect them up. That's something that can't happen via remote control. And for us, what it has meant over a long period of time is to continue to be trained. The field of addiction medicine and the field of recovery both are evolving really quickly these days. And so to stay abreast of what those changes are and how things are developing, and to learn what other people are doing in our field that are making their environments more and more effective takes a lot of commitment to ongoing education. Not something, again, that you can do half-heartedly. It's something that if you're committed to this work, that you're going to dive into and make a part of your regular rhythms.
What accompanying residence means is the ability to be able to sit down and truly connect with your residents that are living in your house. Guys, this is going to take a serious time commitment on you and your staff's part. The fact of the matter is those 2 a.m. phone calls are going to come in. Relapse is going to happen in the house. Some mental instability is going to happen in the house, and a person needs to be there and be present for those phone calls. Not only being present, but know how to navigate those phone calls when they come in. What I mean by navigate, it's going to take time in building relationships with community partners, with detox centers, with designated crisis responders who can really step in and provide clients the help that they need when they really need it. It's going to take a dedication of time commitment to attend weekly house meetings, to be able to sit down, have one-on-one communication, not only with the individuals that are living in the house, but with your house managers as you work with them in truly growing into their positions and helping them to best be able to serve the clients. Some of the positive things when it applies to the time commitments. We need to be there when our residents graduate from treatment, when our residents are celebrating recovery dates, when our residents phase up in the class or in the recovery residence. These are all very important things that we need to truly celebrate with our residents when they happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just think knowing our people, knowing what they're excited about, knowing what their story is, knowing what their goals are, where they're hoping to go in life, what do they want out of their recovery, is just that commitment of time and just being a listening ear, and just knowing their stories.
I think we're trying for the kind of relationship that is not institutional. I can't stress enough how a camera in the living room is not going to substitute for a connected relationship that is going to help somebody in their recovery process. We say all the time around here that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And the only way that works is just one-on-one time together. And that really falls to the operator as well as the peers in the house. So this piece of being connected and accompanying our residents is really the secret sauce of what we do.
And I would just add to that, it takes time and effort with the operator to create the culture in your home. And the culture in your home is what is, in the end, I believe, going to help bring about healing to the people that are living in our homes. Culture matters a lot.
We're not here to warehouse people. We really are here to see people grow and develop and heal and really live into their full potential. And that only happens through relationship.
So a lot of these videos are talking about it, there's a money trail following these people into recovery homes. And the fact of the matter is that is just not true. It takes a lot of time and effort to help connect people with the right resources. Sometimes those resources are not available. It takes time for people to find work and to become financially stable. There's also a little bit of a tension that happens between the money aspect and the income and what we're trying to do, which is to help serve and heal people.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think there are times when those two goals, the bottom line financially and what's best for a resident, are in tension with each other. And I want to be in my operation all about doing what is absolutely best for the resident whose job is hard enough. Recovery is work, and it's a lot of work that they're doing. But anything that we can do to facilitate that should not be shortcutted by financial considerations that might get in the way somehow.
I want to talk a little bit about policies and procedures today. I've noticed in a lot of the videos that are out there circling around on the internet that policy and procedure manuals that are so imperative to the operation of recovery residences will be written for you. They will align with NAR standards. They will align with WAQRR standards. Well, it's great that the policies and procedures are being written, but unless an operator truly has an understanding of what those policies mean and how to implement them, you're really setting yourself up for failure. It takes time and it takes some experience and some working knowledge behind those policies and procedures to truly run a successful recovery residence. Some of those policies and procedures can include what happens when an individual relapses in your home? What happens when an individual moves out and you need to address a refund policy? What your staff manual looks like, what chore lists look like, what the day-to-day operations of your recovery residence look like. Again, it's great if you can have a company out there, such as the ones that I've seen circulating in the internet, that are willing to write these for you. But unless you have a true understanding of what those policies and procedures mean and the ability to be able to implement them, again, it's going to be very, very hard to run a successful recovery residence without those things in place.
Recovery housing saved my life. It gave me the opportunity and time and space and support that I needed. And if I hadn't had that experience, I can tell you absolutely I would not be here today. And I know that my colleague Jason would say the same thing.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for a safe place to lay my head down when I first got into recovery and positive support systems to walk with me through this, I wouldn't be in the place that I am today. Recovery housing is essential and it can help people recover, but we always have to remember that these are people's lives that we are working with day in and day out. It is so very important that we educate ourselves and we're able to walk beside them in a truly meaning manner to help them get to the place that they need to be in recovery.
I think if there's one message we want to send today, it's that recovery residences don't run themselves. No matter what people tell you, if you really want to do this and you don't want to do harm and you want to make a difference in somebody's life, it means getting involved. It means all the things that we've talked about and more. If, however, you want to do something good, but you can't make that kind of time commitment, we want to encourage you to contact Oxford House International. They're very easy to find online, or look at the website of the National Alliance for Recovery Residences, where you can find who to talk to in your state about finding an operator or a provider who can run that home for you. If you can look into either of those two options. If you want to do option number 3 and you really want to commit to this work, come talk to us. We'd love to hear more about your story and what brings you to this, and we'd be glad to give you some guidance about what next steps might be to really help you succeed in this work. Our contact information will be listed at the end of the video.